Hello and welcome to a Motivation Monday with Lejay. I'm just looking at my fingernails and they're low-key distracting, but let's pretend like y'all didn't see that. Today I want to talk about planning, okay? All things plan. I have a love-hate relationship with planning, okay? In fact, sometimes I think that I like the planning part too much, and then it's the execution part where I'm like, I don't know. Or vice versa, sometimes I feel like I'm in a season where everything needs to be really organized and structured and I'm like on top of all the things. And then I go through seasons where I'm like, I want nothing to do with the planner, okay? Get out of my face. Like, I don't want to do this today. And so, right now I'm getting ready to like ramp up my organization, my organization chapter. And so I've created a new planning system, which I will share with you guys at some point in this video. But before I share that, I want to kind of revisit for today's Motivation Monday, the top 5 things that I need in a planner for it to work for me. The reason that I want to share this is because I want you guys to be okay with knowing who you are, knowing what you need, knowing that something might work for somebody else and it doesn't work for you, it's okay. I want you guys to be okay with testing out a planning system and it not work for you and not to feel crap about that. Like, oh, I just wasted another planner. No, all of those things are very important to helping you create the system that's gonna work the best for you. Planner heaven. I don't know if there's such thing as planner heaven, but I feel like every time I try a planning system and it doesn't work out, there is something that I learn about what I don't like or what I need. And it's very cool to be able to incorporate it into the next system for the next system to be a little bit better than the last. So I'm going to talk about 5 things that I know through my trial and error situation that they're just must-haves. They're non-negotiable. They're going to work for me. So let's go ahead and get into it. Number 1, customizability / changeability. Okay. I know that I like newness. I like freshness. I like to switch things up. Okay. So I need to have a planning system that will allow for that. So I'll show you guys what I have in just a minute. But yeah, I don't like feeling like I just want to buy planner after planner after planner, and then now I'm tired of this one and that one just went to wait. Like, planners are expensive, like especially the good planners. Like a happy planner is like $30. I've seen some for like $40. I've seen planners for like $50. Okay, and I just know that I can't commit to one style of planning for an entire year because things change. What I need for back to school is a lot different than what I need in the summer / the time of the year where there's a lot of project planning and holidays coming up. Like, I just need different things for different seasons, and I need a planner situation that will adapt to that. Okay. And then also customizability. I think one of my issues with just like off the shelf planners is that sometimes I just feel like there are sections that I really need that are missing, and it doesn't feel like straightforward for me to like integrate that into it. I guess if I try really hard, I could. For example, like the disc bound planners, I can always insert stuff. But yeah, that's one of the issues that I have is I'm like, one week I would really benefit from seeing a dashboard so I can see everything at a high level, whereas the next week I want to be down hourly and see into the details. So I just need to be able to swap things in and out, as I feel called to do so. And I just don't want to spend a lot of money every time I feel that calling that it's time to change, because I know it'll just be 2 or 3 weeks later and it'll be time for me to change again. All right, the next thing that's important to me is number 2 is I don't like rewriting routines over and over again. And so you guys know that I have like a weekend routine that I try to follow to try to recover from the previous week and prep for the next week. I might have like weekly things that come up over and over again, monthly things that come up over and over again. So it's nice to be able to like keep track of that stuff. Now, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of that stuff I keep track of my Google Calendar especially like monthly things, for example, like bills and stuff like that. But it's also nice to be able to like have a place where I just have like a command like checklist center, you know, and it's kind of hard to find a place for that, I think, in like a lot of traditional standard planners. And so like I would either have to have an extra notebook to keep track of that stuff or use like an external resource. And that brings us to our next point very beautifully. I, as much as possible, want things to be contained in one central place as much as possible. I know that that is too much to ask for one planner because I just all over the place, you know, you got to be quick to keep up with me. And so, but if there's any way possible where I don't have to have like 2 or 3 planners, this planner's for kids events, this planner's for content, this planner is for home routines, this planner's for appointment. If as much as possible I can avoid that, that is amazing for me. Like I mentioned before with Google Calendar, Google Cal will always have a place in my heart because I love seeing those reminders like the day before, like, oh, this is coming up tomorrow, you know. But if I could see it like, you know, a week ahead of time and have it just in one central place, that works better for me. So with that being said, the 4th thing that I look for is dashboard energy. And it's weird because number 5 is literally going to be the opposite. We'll get there when we get there. But dashboard energy, like speaking of liking to have everything in one place, it's very important for me to see it in a way that helps me know like what's the most important part of this, what needs to be acted on right away, what is like the priority. Sometimes I struggle with, especially like a daily planner, for example, where I just see the focuses for the day. A lot of daily planners don't have like a weekly spread. So it's really frustrating for me because I like to have a general idea of like what's coming up for the week before I start getting into the daily situation. I like to be able to just have like a big overview of like what's coming up. How much time do I have before that vacation comes? How much time do I have to procrastinate, you know? And so I like to see everything kind of at a glance, and then I can get into the more detailed minutia stuff. And so dashboard energy is very important to me. Number 5, kind of going along with seeing everything in one place, it's very important to me to just not be like overwhelmed with too many details at once, which is why I need the dashboard. But I like the details. I want the details to be there. There has to be a place for the details. And so I need, not only do I need to see the details, but I need everything to be sectioned off and categorized in a specific way so that I can go see what's relevant for me at that time. If I want to think about recipes and meal planning, I want to go to the recipes and meal planning section, and that's all I see. If I want to think about an upcoming trip, I want to go to a project planning section, and that's all I see. If I want to look at my routines for the day and my intentions for the day, I want to go look at a section, and that's all I see. So being able to break things into smaller sections is very important to me. And then also kind of having that dashboard of whatever is relevant for me right now. So I think that's 5. I'm just gonna throw this one in here as a bonus. Although that this wasn't one of the initial things that I wanted to add, but having something that is not like date specific is important to me as well. Once again, I have used so many planners. I've bought so many planners and I used it for like a couple of weeks or months. And then like I was done with it because I was ready to move on to the next thing. And I just feel like I don't really want to spend money on things that I know I will not get the maximum use out of. And so if I can get something that is undated or something that is like reusable, then that just works a little better for me. All right, so now that I've done the setup, I've let you guys know kind of like what I've learned about myself and the circumstances that make the best fit for me. I want to introduce you guys to yet another planning option. I feel like if you just go through the history of this channel, you're going to see lots of different things that I've tried. And like I mentioned before, every iteration I learn something new about myself, and maybe one of those past iterations will be a better fit for you than this iteration if you're just looking for like ideas. So definitely feel free to like swing back and go look at some of the other things that we've tried, you know, over the course of this channel. But this is what I am going to be doing now. So I'm just gonna give y'all just a heads up. This particular system, it's a beast, okay? It's a beast. This particular system is not meant to be carried around all over the house. Like the stuff that I really need, like, oh, you need to be here at this, that stuff's in my Google Calendar. You know, Google Calendar will always be a thing, but my Google Calendar is not the place to get into the details, to get into the weeds, to get into the checklist, because it will become too cluttered and then I'll miss important information. So for everything else, there is this, okay? Okay, so let's talk about it. This is a photo album that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I believe that it was about 20 bucks, okay? About 20 bucks. These little inserts that are inside are not the original inserts, because I got the 4x6. So obviously this was meant to hold photos, but I didn't do photos. I did note cards. And so these were not the original inserts. It was kind of like one big sleeve, 12 by 12. And so I took those inserts out and I put these replacement inserts in. And I think this was like $6, $7, or $8 for a pack of 20 inserts, okay? Then I went to CVS because that was the fastest thing I can get to. And I got 4x6 note cards, all right? In terms of other supplies, you're gonna want maybe like a pen so you can write your information on it. I like using dry erase marks to kind of mark off things as we're going along. And then I also have wet erase markers as well. You can also use permanent marker because like you can write on top of the sleeves, right? So you can also use permanent marker and just use like hand sanitizer or alcohol to be able to keep it clean. All right, so let's talk about the things that I was looking for. I like using the note cards because my first point was changeability, customizability. So it is so easy, like if I decide that there's a section in here that I don't want, to pull that thing out and to put it back in with something else, you know? If I decide that this is, my first page is like a summer dashboard, so I can see like my major to-do list of things that I need to accomplish before the summer is over, before we go back to school. And then I have important dates for June, July, August. And then I have the bills that I have to pay manually, so I can just kind of see everything high level up front, you know? And so, yeah, if I decide that I don't like that dashboard, I just take it out, you know, customizability, changeability. The next thing is I said I wanted to be able to add notes. And so here is like a little basic weekly plan. So this is very heavily inspired by my experience with Fly Lady. So that's where this comes into play. So I have like different themes: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. So different focus for each day. So on the actual note card, I put the things that I'm just gonna have to do every week, or that I would like to do every week. But if it's something that's just week specific, then I have written it with a wet erase marker. And so that way when this week is over, I will just wipe it down and then I will be ready to write new notes that are relevant for next week. The next thing that I mentioned was dashboard energy. So this is giving dashboard energy. I already talked about this page, a high level overview of like what I need to do for the summer before the kids go back to school. I talked about seeing everything in one place. So I am not done with that, but it's a work in progress, okay? So here we have daily routines. So I'm gonna start working on mine here in a little bit. And as I go through, I'm gonna mark things off. Over here, we have my zone cleaning. So I'm gonna fill this in with different things that I wanna see done in different zones around the house. And then just as I'm working through it, I'll scratch it off. Over here, I like to use the meal matrix from the Lazy Genius when it comes to meal planning, Y'all, this is like the easiest way to plan a month of meals. I can't even tell you like how easy it is, okay? All you do is think about a variety of themes for your meals. And if you think about six different themes, so I just kept it really simple for this time. I have Mexican, American, crock pot, rice/pasta, comfort, and breakfast for dinner. And then all you have to do is list about 4 meal ideas under each of those themes. And then there you go, you've planned for a month. So every Monday, you're gonna be eating something off of the Mexican food theme list. Every Tuesday, you're gonna be eating something off the American food theme list, and so on and so on. And then your 7th day can be leftovers or whatever, you know? So that's there. And then here I have frequently purchased groceries. So that way, if we're just trying to think of like, oh, what do we need to pick up from the store? Especially, I find this is not an issue when I order my groceries online, but if I'm trying to go to the store physically, I hate just trying to remember a list. So it's nice to have a reference to be like, oh, okay, oh yeah, we actually are out of pizza. I'm gonna add that to the list. Or better yet, to even like put a star by things that you know that you need and take a picture, you know? And so just anything that I want to reference, I like that I can just kind of have its own little section. So I have different food themes: produce, canned, pantry, dairy, frozen, condiments, personal stuff, protein, snacks, household, and other. I can change that, you know, whenever I want. And then I kind of anticipate that as we start moving into these back sections, that maybe I can use this for like project planning. Like we have a trip coming up. Maybe I need to get more detailed with our back to school planning, holidays, things like that. So like I mentioned, this is very heavily inspired by my experience with the Fly Lady system. In fact, my first control journal was a photo album, but it was like a photo album where it was a photo album where you can only see, I believe, 4 at a time when you opened it. And so that was the limitation, is I wanted to see more information so that everything related to the theme could be kind of as close together as possible, so I can see it all at once and not have to flip through a lot of pages. And so getting a bigger one has certainly resolved that issue for me. And I don't intend to like have this be something that I take everywhere. It's more just like a reference binder when I'm thinking about home stuff, so I don't have to just constantly be thinking of stuff from scratch. Like it's all, I'll just document it in one place. So I'm just gonna have this just out on my kitchen counter, especially when I am thinking of like what are my focuses for the day. This is the only page that I need. It has my routines over here, and it has my basic weekly plan over there. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all that I really need. Maybe I might need to flip to zone cleaning if I'm doing zone cleaning that day and I want to see what my intentions were. And so, and then when I'm done with it, I'll just close it up. I'm gonna put it probably behind my little Echo show so that it's kind of out the way. And then when it's time for me to do my routines, I'll open it back up. So this may not work for everybody, but right now I just feel good. I feel like, whoo, woosah. And I'm not saying that this is gonna be like the end all be all for me, because I felt this way before, but I do feel like I'm on the right path to just figuring out like the thing that is going to work for me. And so it might work for a little bit, and then I will learn from it and figure out, okay, what else do I need or what's not working about it, and it will inform kind of what I do in the future. So that is it. Monday motivation with Ladae. Let's get our planning situation set up, y'all. Okay, let's get our planning situation set up. All right, so that we feel like we can get all the things out of our brain and into the family management binder, the family management planner, because you're going to be able to do everything else way more effectively if your to-do list and your checklist are not just bouncing all over your brain. You can be clear-headed and you can be focused. So that's certainly how I feel right now, just knowing that everything that's important is captured and documented. And if I want to get back to it, it's in a safe place, and it will do wonders for your just peace of mind to at least have it documented. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get to all of this stuff but at least I know I'm not going to forget it. So that's all that I have for today's Monday motivation. I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.